Hello, everybody. Gina Stroll here, intuitive healer, psychic medium, and spiritual coach. And I am here to share with you some of the thoughts, some of the things that I've been thinking about this week, because I think that it helps us all out when I share these with you, because I know that we all go through similar things sometimes, or we have been working on similar things. And it's helpful to have, I think, someone to share ideas and to help you really connect with yourself and to see how you can do your healing work. So I'm here to help you do that today. I'm excited. I wanted to just share with you some of what's been going through my head. So that gets complicated sometimes, but not. So this week, as some of you have seen, I guess this past weekend, I did a healing retreat for my VIP ladies, and we all stayed in an Airbnb together and did a whole lot of healing for an entire weekend. So it was marvelous. It was amazing. It's the first in-person thing I've done since COVID, since life kind of changed. And so it was very awesome to be able to get together with the people in person that I have been working with for the last 6 months. If you don't know, I do a VIP coaching program, and I work with people on an extended period of time. And we really just do tons and tons of healing. And it's really been a life-changing course for a whole lot of people. And so as we did that this weekend, I had some really big thoughts on all the healing that went on and how things worked out. And there's something to be said about being together in person and doing a dedicated healing weekend. There's really just some big things there that are to be said about that. But as I came home and was really trying to put into words what the weekend was like, it was very in-depth. And it took me a minute to come home too. And I was tired when I got home. I did, there was lots of healing that was happening with lots of people over the weekend. And it took me a day or two to come home and really integrate that healing in, even for myself, even as I do this work and there's an up leveling that happens, and it takes a little bit for all that to settle inside of your system. And one of the things that came up was this fear and living in fear. And I was actually out riding my bike this morning, and this has been on my mind through this entire week as I've been integrating and slowing down a little bit, even in my business. When we do big things like this, to me, it's important for my energy, for me to come home and really kind of slow down and just allow things to integrate into my system. And that's kind of what I've been doing this week. And but this fear thing kept coming up. And I was out riding my bike this morning, and fears just going on in my head, thinking about all the fears that we carry in our physical body, all the fears that we have that go through our mind. And we conjure up these fears because this fear usually is not real. It's usually a story that we have told ourselves about why things happen the way they do and what happens when we think or act or do things a certain way, and we get these fears that come up for us of being abandoned or being left alone, or nobody will like us. We tell ourselves these stories, and so usually as we get into these adult years, we don't even realize the stories anymore. They've been going on in our head for so long. It's really hard to kind of unpack them sometimes and to really get to the nitty-gritty of what's really going on. And so as I thought about all these fears, I was just really thinking about myself and the fears that I've had even over the last year. I would even say the year and a half, because last year was a big, I took some really big steps last year and did some things that I'd never done before. And every time you do that, it brings up new fears. And just because I've been doing this for a long time doesn't mean that I'm like I'll walk in no fear and I'm just out there fearless doing my thing. It brings up a lot of insecurities anytime we start something new, anytime we do a new level up in our healing, anytime we start a healing process, it brings up a lot of fears and a lot of just feelings of self-worth. It usually hits our self-worth, which is part of our fears inside. And so I was thinking about this past year and thinking about how I had learned to work through some of those fears. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, because it's great. We all have fears. We all have all these things, but how do we work through them? How do we find a way to get through them? Because today, as I was writing, I'm not in that fear place. I'm not in that fear place anymore. I am in a place of freedom. I am in a place of compassion for myself. I'm really learning to step into this loving myself and really trusting in the universe and trusting in my path. And that's what I want to show you how to get to today, because that was where my thought process was going. Is we all have these fears come up. We all have this ego that creeps in and says, you can't do that. Who the hell are you to step up and do those things? Who the hell are you to help people heal their lives? You know, and so we get all of these fears that creep in. Fears of not being good enough. I was even this morning while I was writing, it's funny, thinking about food, and we get on these kicks of like fearing food, fearing eating certain foods, fearing being around certain things. You know, we, even with our bodies, we fear our bodies are not going to handle things. There's so many fears that we just get all wrapped up in. And as we can learn to back away from those and learn to unpack them and decide, really get clear with ourselves on where these fears come from, where they originate with. And that's what I had to do last year. So those of you who know me know my husband retired this last year, and I knew that he was going to do it. And this wasn't a big surprise. We've been planning it forever, but I was amazed at the fears that came up with all of these changes that were coming into our lives. And I felt like it kind of blindsided me as all these fears started coming up. Not only was my husband retiring, it was a big year in my business. I took lots of big steps inside of my business. And there were changes going on inside my family. It was just a lot of things packed into a year's worth of time. And I found myself in this place feeling like I was backed into a corner, and I just had to sit there and write it out. And I really had to kind of coax myself out of the corner and say, no, this isn't our truth. This isn't who we are. I didn't come here to sit in a corner. If you've seen, I just saw Dirty Dancing, nobody puts baby in the corner kind of thing. It's funny, I get those images, but I really just saw that for myself, and I was like, what is going on? And so I had lots of healing sessions last year, and I do that anyway for myself. That's just part of the deal. But I really tried to unpack where all these fears were coming from. And I realized through that whole process that these fears weren't my truth. All the things that I was afraid of, even afraid of my husband being home all the time and wondering what that was going to look like. You know, I've been alone in my house. I work from home. And so, I had my days while he was working I was home alone doing my own things. And it even brought up fears and insecurities about our relationship, about how things were going to work out, what that looked like, what that felt like. And it was really quite a place to be for a while. And it took me a while to unpack it. It took me a while to really step in and start to weed out the lies and find my truth in all of that. And I did it by lots of healing sessions. The other one, journaling. And really, I get my best downloads when I'm out moving, I'm out exercising, I'm out walking the dogs, or right now it's summer, I love riding my bike. And just like I told you this morning, that's what I was doing this morning. And I'm getting all of these hits and all of these downloads on healing and what that looks like and how we can really start to heal these fears. These fears that we have in life are just your ego keeping you small. They are not your truth. Most of us, fear can come in. We can get that fight or flight when, we're being chased by a bear. Most of us are not being chased by bears these days, or cats, or any wild animals. We can get these fears and insecurities that come up. The big thing that I learned from myself this last year was to set myself up so that I could feel safe. Whatever those things were. There was some things that I changed in my business so that I did feel safe inside of my business. There was things that I did in my life so that I could find that safety and security. And those are things that you really have to do for yourself. You really have to decide what do I need to do so that I do feel safe? What do I need to do? Because we all know the universe. I know the universe provides. I know that. Like nobody's business, I know that. But that doesn't mean when we're going through tough times and we're hit with all these bills, or we're hit with, a whole bunch of things at once. It doesn't mean we don't get a little fearful and scared. And so really finding a way so that you can set yourself up to feel that sense of safety and security. And you're the only one that knows the answer to that question. For me, it came through really sitting with myself, asking myself, what did I want? What did I want my business to look like? What do I want my home life to look like? What do I want my relationships to look like? And I really had to start looking at all those areas and all those aspects of my life and really start doing things that brought me to that place of feeling safety and security inside. Because if we're feeling out of control, if you can't get grounded, if your root chakra is a hot mess, you're not going to be able to find that safety and security. If you aren't doing your daily clearing of your energy field, if those of you who have been doing this work for a while know what a difference that makes. Really finding, I do a daily practice of healing my physical body, clearing out my energetic field, really bringing in that love and light and that gratitude into my life. And I do that every single day because it brings in, it reassures, it allows me to see that I'm in this place of safety and security. And we all need to feel that safety and security. Some of us have past life healing stuff that needs to be done so that we can feel safe and secure in the life that we are living right now. But we absolutely have to find ways to do that. And I did that this past year. I really did that. I started doing some different things in my business so that did feel safe and secure. I really did do some work inside of my relationship. I did a lot of journaling and a lot of healing so that I knew. And it was funny, as I did that, I realized the lies that I told myself. I had one that I was afraid of being in trouble all the time. And I'll share this with you. I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to be home all the time. He's going to see what I do every day. And I'm thinking, where is this coming from? Because I am really I have an amazing husband. Those of you, if any of you know my husband, I have an amazing husband. I'm in a really good relationship. We have created a good relationship, but with things changing and shifting inside of there, some of these fears came up again. And it wasn't about him. This is just it. It wasn't about him. It was all about me. And so I had to really work through that and decide, where are these coming from? Most of these fears that we have are inner child healing issues that need to be cleared up. That's exactly what mine were. It was I needed to get out of this thing of always being in trouble, doing something wrong, and somebody not liking me or somebody not accepting me for who I am. That all had to be cleared up, had to do the work there for that. And then it goes away and we can step into this place of safety and security. The other thing that I see a lot is when we do start doing our work, we get our healing work. Let me clarify that. We do get a little more scared. And it's because our ego freaks out and says, why do you want to change these things? We've been doing it this way forever. Why would you start to make changes? We don't need changes. We're fine. And really, I just had one of my VIP students this morning that I was talking to, and I said, you need to talk to your ego. You need to work with her. You need to reassure her and bring her back in with you now that you've done all this healing work. because she needs to know that you're on her side. And it sounds crazy we're talking about ourselves like that, but it's true. We need to know that we're here for ourselves, that we're here to do this work. I don't believe that we ever get rid of ego, but I believe that we can calm her so down that you really don't know she's there. And that is where I am at this year. And that was probably my biggest aha of this last week. Was it was time to quiet the ego. And it was time to let go of all of these stories and all of these things that I've been telling myself for so long. We don't need to carry them. It's not part of our deal. We cause a lot of our own suffering because of them. And because we tell ourselves, even telling ourselves that we can't, or that we shouldn't, or I could never do anything like that. I'm not like that. I'm not. Instead of telling ourselves, yeah, you could, and the time may come when you can do that, we tell ourselves these lies that we can't do that. And that's not our truth either. You came here to have a spiritual experience. I believe you came here to learn to work with your ego and to quiet her and allow yourself to really have a true experience here in the physical world. I don't believe that you all came here to work and to die. I believe money is here for you to enjoy this experience while you're here. And when we can start to see and understand our true spiritual nature, this is when we find our peace. This is when we find our freedom. That's what I love about intuitive healing. And we talked about that a lot this weekend on how really intuitive healing is the bomb. It is the bomb healer. And I mean that like not destructively, but it really does. When intuitive healing is done right, it will come in and it moves out, literally blows things up, blows you out of the water, and helps you see where you have really kept yourself stuck and where you have kept yourself small. And that's what I love about it, is because once you do that work, you can look back on it and go, oh my gosh, I had no idea. And it's not about judging ourselves for being there. At the time, it was the very best that you knew how. But now you know something different. And now you're ready to move on and do different. And that healing works makes it easier for you to do that. It makes it easier for you to see that and to understand and to move forward. It's no different as you grow up in life. And, when it's time to walk, we learn to walk. We're not ready to run yet. And then you learn how to run. And then you learn what you like and what you don't like. And you learn to do all these different things. It's no different in the healing process. Sometimes we're crawling. Sometimes we're taking really, really slow baby steps, and that's okay. And then as we learn more and we graduate and we move on and we learn to walk, we learn to stand by ourselves, and then we learn to walk, and then we learn to run. And this is how the healing process is. This is how it works for everybody everybody. It's in steps. Little by little, we learn to live our very best life. And I know that's how it has happened for me. I've been doing this work for a whole lot of years now. And I have seen myself grow in steps as I was ready to do it over the years. And that's how it works for everybody that I know. It's how it works for everybody that I work with. We don't force anything. We just allow it to come. We allow it to open up. And as we're ready to understand who we truly are and why you're here, that healing will come in for you. It does every time. And just like with all these fears, you can release all of those fears and find your freedom. The thing that I talk about most in the work that I do is that it really allows you to find your freedom, to find who you truly are and live your true, authentic life. Because you didn't come here to please anybody else. You didn't come here to wait for everyone else to heal you. You came here to enjoy this opportunity and to have an experience. And that's it. That's it. You're like, well, that's too simple. Actually, it's simple and very complex all at the same time. Learning to have that experience, learning to allow joy to come in. That's the thing that is hard for a lot of people to do. I was even thinking this morning as I was writing, I was thinking about even allowing yourself to be joyful. That can be hard if you've raised that as an adult. Life is serious and you got to stay serious and you got to stay doing what you're supposed to do and be the good girl and do all the things. It's really hard to bring in that sense of joy and freedom and allow yourself to be in that place. So, think about all these things today. Think about what I've talked to you about. I'd love to hear anything that you have to say in the comments. I love hearing from all of you, and I love sharing with you my stories. I think we help each other as we share our stories, share our healing. Today, I just posted a testimonial of one of the girls who's been with me in my VIP group, and you can find that on my Facebook page. And it was really cool to see the changes that have happened for her, with her, because of the healing work that her and I have been doing together. I know that healing is the bomb. I know that healing makes such a big impact in so many ways if you're willing to dive in and do the work, and if you're willing to look at your fears and willing to even push back those fears a little bit. I know when my fears come in, that means I'm on the right path. It just means I've got some things to work through, and it's fine. Those fears don't scare me away from doing anything anymore. They just let me know that I'm doing the right thing. And you can get there too. You can get to that place where you understand what all these things are. You can understand when your ego's coming in. You can understand when you're literally in your own way. And you can also understand what this life is all about. So I want to leave that message with you today. There is one opening left for my VIP program for the rest of the year. If you're interested in doing that, please message me, or you can find that information on my events page on my website. So I would love to have you if you are ready to dive in. There's only one spot left, and that is it. When it's gone, that class I keep very small and intimate. And I trust that whoever the universe brings in is going to be just perfect for that group. So if that's something that you're ready to invest in and you're ready to do, I would absolutely love to have you. If you'd like to learn more about doing your healing work and really getting into the nitty-gritty, this is where you want to go. So, Joyce, I was raised in Utah. I don't know if you're still on, and I've been here my whole life. I love traveling out of Utah, and it's funny, the older I get, the more I come back and love being where I'm at. So I have born and raised in Utah. So I met my husband here. He moved here, and I always thought I would leave Utah, and I never did. I've stayed here because he's been here. So anyway, that's how that works. So, and hello Ashley, and hello Michelle, and hello Bridget. So I enjoyed chatting with all of you today. Thank you for listening. If you watch me in the replay, please tag me and let me know you're here. I'd love to hear any comments you have, any questions you may have, anything that I left out. To me, this healing process is all about waking the hell up, and starting to listen to ourselves and listen to what we say to ourselves, and really gather a new understanding of that, and then unpacking that and realizing what is our truth and what isn't. To me, that is healing right there in a nutshell. So, there's a lot more that goes into it, but that's really what it truly is all about. And we do that by taking opportunities to get real and to get real with ourselves. So I hope you've enjoyed this chat today. Let's see, Joyce. It was raining here, and I love Utah accent. I've come across 2 people on YouTube this week with a lovely sound. Yeah, we do. We don't think we have an accent, but apparently we do. I love traveling because I love listening. When we went to Egypt, I was like, I could sit here and listen to that, how that rolls off, because I don't sound like that, but they thought I sounded different too. So interesting. Yeah. Yes. So anyway, thank you for all being here. Thank you for listening. If I can help you in any way, please let me know. If you have questions about anything that I do, or if a program is right for you, message me and let's talk about it. So I would love to hear from you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of my group. So much love and compassion and gratitude goes out to all of you. And we will talk to you all again very soon. Bye-bye for now.